the ACC course book has different lessons, different topics like crime, ecology, social networking. So I would really like you to...
Where do we get it?
Yes, the book.
Uh-huh.
I am going to give you my book today so you can find out what lessons you would like to prepare.
Okay.
And Ms. Hilda said that you can either go to her so you can take copies of the lessons that you would like to do, or I can lend you my book today. You tell me what units and I can have Carlos Andres or somebody in the lab to take the copies and you can go with the copies today. Yes? It's better if we divide the units today. In the recess, maybe you can check out the books and tell me which unit you would like me to take copies from, so we don't repeat the units. The idea is that we all choose different units. So you don't have to choose today the activity that you will do, but you should choose today the unit that you will cover. Yes? There are 10 units, so easily we can cover one each. And it will be also, remember, she will follow the format for the teacher observation form. That is finding group work, pair work, individual work, something like that, variety. Error correction, feedback, all those things. So basically she will use the format that she's been using for the teacher observation form. And well, let me write you here. Here it's group, pair work, error correction that we're going to see today, feedback, and the assessment. Like, she will pay attention to those things. So I'm giving you a hand.
Thank you.
On that. You can choose. For example, if today's class you think it's useful, you can choose the writing section from the book. Yes? In the book there is also the speaking section, there is also a reading section. So either one of those modules could be useful for you. I certainly cannot recommend vocabulary and grammar sections because they're very theoretical. And you will take longer than expected to perform your class. Yes? So it's better if you choose from the skills, not the items of language that are vocabulary and grammar. Okay? So that will be my small advice for you. I think we should begin. It's kind of late. Yeah. So we should get started. So today I have brought for you some of the things that I generally plan. Yeah, I think I'm going to follow. That I generally plan in my classes, and these activities, as we discussed last week, can have variety. You can have from a speaking activity turn into a writing activity easily, okay? So the first activity that I will recommend you to begin at any unit, it could be step forward, it could be grammar or writing skills, it's called freeze, okay? Freeze is, you have in your copies, in the last pages of your copies, you have, let me show you, in the last pages it's the word freeze here. So you can read this later. I'm going to work with you without instructions first, and then, well, you can have some reading at home about what's freeze. I am going to give you a piece of paper, and you're going to write about a medical emergency you were part of, either being a victim or giving a hand. This is a topic I use in reading and writing that talks about altruism and helping others. So this is the way I warm up my class. I don't begin with, in reading and writing, I don't begin with speaking. I can begin with writing, but writing about something that has been real. So I'm going to give you a piece of paper, half of a paper, and you will begin writing. When I say stop, okay, freeze, you give the paper to your partner, and your partner continues writing, okay? You can finish your idea. So, let's begin. Obviously, your idea will not be the same situation as your partner's idea. So the idea here is that we create a story that is kind of funny, it could be kind of silly or kind of dramatic. Yes? So I think that we should work in pairs because we're supposed to have more people here. So I was going to make groups of 3. But maybe Jimmy, can you please work with Juanqui?
Of course, yes.
And then we can work in pairs here. So here, and this for you. So when I tell you to begin, not yet, you begin writing about a medical emergency you were part of, either being a victim or giving a hand. Okay? Only Miguel and Juanqui write. When I say freeze, you pass the paper to Tony, and Juanqui, you pass the paper to Jimmy. Alright? Are the instructions
I'm
understood?
supposed to continue writing based on what he writes?
No, you continue writing your idea.
My idea. Okay.
Yes. Because it's your idea. So
Okay.
at the end I will read and make sure that obviously it will turn out to be something really weird.
Follow what I said.
Yes, it doesn't have to follow an essay. Yes. It's just you giving an idea. Okay, so let me just wait.
How long do we have?
Yeah, wait a minute. Let me just okay. You will have 2 minutes and then you will pass the paper to your partner.
Okay.
Okay? Generally, because we're in groups, I have 2 people, like 1 in each group writing and the others are discussing. But here we're a small group, so we're gonna do it like the others are quiet, you will be writing. Let me give you just 1 minute, it's better. You're teachers, you will write fast. Okay, so 1 minute, you could start now. Okay, freeze. Now listen, when you give your paper to your partner, I don't want you to write the beginning of your story. I want you to write the end of your story. Please.
Of my story?
Your story, yes.
Okay.
Give the end to your paper to your partner. Correct. Now let's write the end of how your story will finish. 1, 2, 3. Go. You have to write for 1 minute, so if you finish earlier, you will have to write a little bit more ideas. Generally, I put the timer on the board, yes, because they're beginners, but when you have a reading and writing group, it's better if you don't show them time, because they know they need to control their own time. Like for example, senior students, they need to use the time clock. Okay, stop. Freeze. Freeze! Okay, thank you.
1 minute.
So please, you are going to read this and you will read this. Okay? Please, Jimmy, begin reading the first paragraph and then it will be Tony's turn. Please.
Out loud?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. One day, a student asked me for permission to go to the restroom. I was teaching here at SAM, but after 25 minutes, she hadn't come back, and I got worried.
Okay?
That's the first part.
Okay.
Do I have to read everything?
No. Tony, continue with your story, the first part.
The first part, 5 years ago, I went to the university to get some copies when suddenly I felt and twisted my ankle. It was so painful that I couldn't stand up.
Okay. Continue, Jimmy. Oh, please, Jimmy, give it to Juanqui so he can read.
Diego.
Oh, my handwriting.
Where was that? Here. Okay, I sent a student at the end of the day. My sister got better. She had to stay at the hospital for a couple of days. It was a scary experience because she had
She had never.
she had
never
never
broken a bone.
She had
I
never
couldn't finish.
Broken. Okay.
I couldn't finish the story.
Okay, give it to Mike so he can read.
At the end of the women
Right.
Flight.
flight,
Flight.
sorry,
Flight.
flight. She was taken in a pickup van to the hospital and we knew nothing else about her. I hope she could survive.
Oh my God!
That's huge.
What happened? What happened? Jimmy wrote that.
Yeah,
What happened?
She had an accident. The car hit her.
Okay.
She was pregnant. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Okay.
And I saw that. I tried to help her, but she was really injured.
Okay.
So what I could do at that moment is to attract the attention of people in order to help her. but help didn't come, or it came really late.
Okay.
She was scared, but at the same time she was in a lot of pain, and that was a moment I would never forget.
Okay. Now, and you had a problem with the university, right? In the university, you failed.
Yes.
Okay, so you see that those two stories don't match at all.
Yeah.
And your story doesn't match either. You were talking about
My sister.
Your sister.
Your
had
sister?
student
and you were talking about,
And never came back.
and you,
Student went to the restroom
and you never knew what happened?
after 25 minutes she never came back. So I
So-
sent another student.
Well, that was a girl.
It was a woman, yeah.
So we can match
Yeah.
that story because he's talking about a woman and he's talked about his sister. So, well, the idea here is not only to check like how ridiculous the stories could be, but also to check the grammar and vocabulary. So if you had bigger groups, you could check, even if the story doesn't make sense, it's just to check on ideas. And then you say like, but I know the end, but I don't know how did it happen. So it initiates discussion.
But when you do the activity, you have a group of 4, 5.
Yeah, generally it's my students like class are 20, so you can have like groups of 4s and 5s, and it's obviously better because you have a lot more ideas and you don't have to write the end, because here I have only beginning and end. I can say, okay, tell me what happened next. So they continue writing what happened next, so that makes more sense than writing the beginning and the end. But here we were only groups of 2, so it's kind of like,
It's what we usually do when we predict.
Uh-huh.
The book tells us to write the first and the last paragraph of the story.
Yeah.
It's just the same.
it's the same, but this is more personalized.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, yeah, the type of activity is called freeze. I didn't know that was a name until yesterday. But the name of the activity is called freeze. And here are the instructions for another variation you may have, okay? Now, I wanted to give you a little reading, but I don't know where it is. I don't know exactly. We're going to do something that is called reverse writing. I forgot the reading activity, but I only have the comprehension questions.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you could help me coming up with the
Don't
answers.
you have it in a file so we can read it on the screen?
No, that's what I tell my students, but generally it's not. The idea is that I tell them that I forgot the article.
But that's not true.
It's not
Is
true.
it
I did it on purpose.
Ah, okay.
Yes? I tell them that, like, oops, I'm sorry, like, students, can you help me? Because I really forgot the article. So I just have the answers. Do you think you can help me answering these questions? And they're like, but how do we answer them? I don't know, like, help me, because I have to finish this activity. And they're like, okay, let's do it. So we're going to do reverse writing. I'm gonna give you instructions. Let the other person begin today. That will be Jimmy and Tony. So here you should put students in groups, pairs, or threes, okay? And you could choose which tense you want to focus. The questions that I have written here are in the past, yes? So, let's read the questions to them. What was Mr. Jones' job? What was he going to do? Why? What was the weather like? Why? What did he decide to do after that? What didn't he want to do? Why? And what was the surprising end? Okay? So, in groups, please, I want you to divide the questions like 4 and 4, and I want you to answer these questions because I didn't bring the article. Okay? So, please, let's answer the questions. Read the questions again in silence, and let's answer the questions. I will give you 5 minutes to complete this activity. If you need any vocabulary words, you can just tell me.
We're gonna just speed this out?
No, you write together.
All,
Yes,
we
yes,
answer all
together.
the questions?
Yeah, you have to answer all the questions, okay? So let's see, 5 minutes. Let me just see, 1, 2, 3, go.
It was a chef.
Okay.
Kids,
They want to get by evaluation.
morning, afternoon.
When you finish number 4, give the paper to Juanqui.
Morning.
Poor evaluation.
Yeah.
My bad.
From 1 to 4.
Yes, you're for now for 4 to 6. Yes, of course. No, you have to finish for 4.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, but you need to go, so maybe Jimmy can
No,
continue.
no, let me
Okay.
finish.
Yes, Jimmy, you can help.
Okay, accelerates.
Make sure you write enough details. You have 2 more minutes to go. Okay, thank you. So let's read. Let me read for you. I have the first story. Thank you for helping me. I forgot the article. I'm not sure why, where did I left it. Mr. Jones is a chef. He was going to buy some groceries to make a special meal because it was his son's birthday. It was really warm. It was a really warm morning. Then he wanted to get some cupcakes and sweets for the birthday party. He didn't want to miss any details because his son would feel really sad. At the end, not many people attended the party. Oh, that's so sad.
I didn't make it.
You see, you put the twist because Jimmy was writing more enthusiastically and Juanqui wrote the emo part of the story. So that happens. You put your touch there, and sometimes a person could be like dramatic, like what Juanqui wrote. But then Jimmy fixed the story up and he writes something more cheerful that will put some more spice into the story. Or maybe he likes to write horror stories, so he writes something like, suddenly the maid started killing all kids. Or something like very horrendous, like the dog started chewing on the cake, or things like that. Now, this is the other story. He was a teacher. Mr. Jones was a teacher. He was going to plan his classes, and because he was going to be observed. It was really nice. Oh, here, for example, there are mistakes here. You answer directly the question. You have to use full answers.
Yes.
Okay?
The weather.
The weather was really nice. After that, he went to eat out to celebrate. He didn't want to get a poor evaluation because his salary depended on that. The surprising end was that he got fired anyway because he was drunk. Okay, nice story. I think that my recommendation for you too is to write some transition signals there to connect the sentences, or to write fuller sentences. Okay? But yeah, very good. So yours is more real. And the Juanqui's was more dramatic. Yeah, like
More emo-like.
yeah, emo-like. It was an emo ending. That's it. Yeah, it's true. It was an emo ending. Well, I'm going to introduce you my favorite activity. This is why I adapted from a conditional exercise that I generally do. And this always works because you never know what the other student or what your other classmate wrote. It's okay. So, this is what you're going to do. This is called chain writing. Okay? So, what's the deal? You will have to complete every 2 lines, or every line, every dotted line here. So, when you finish completing, you do this to the paper. By the end of these, we have a story created by you with your own ideas and obviously different styles of writing. So this is fun because the turnout is kind of different, okay? You can do this with adjectives. You say, for example, you are a smart person, and then you switch this and you give it to another person. He says, I don't like your teeth. And the other one says, okay, your hair looks messy. And you continue writing. At the end, you know you have a full description, not about you, who knows about whom, but you're practicing descriptions. So let's practice today with this. This is from a postcard, okay? So we're going to begin from Leo. Leo begins writing the dear and I hope you are.
Okay.
And you do this, Leo. I'm sorry. You do this, up, like this. You bend the paper like this.
Okay.
And then it's Jimmy's turn. You cannot read this part.
Of course, yeah.
Alright? and so on.
I'll try not to.
All the group must finish this in 4 minutes, so you must write faster. Okay? So Leo, here you go. Begin writing. Jimmy, you cannot pick. 4 minutes for everyone. So everyone, if you finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you return. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again until it's done. Okay? Let's go. This is fast writing. 1, 2, 3. Leo began earlier, but it's fine.
We can keep it.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
There you are.
It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not a gift wrap. I mean, these activities, most of them are with bigger groups. With small groups, it's easier to have a discussion, to warm up. Tony? Sorry, Tony's not good at making
I am not.
I mean, thank God you're not, right? We're not doing origami here because origami
I
is,
will fail.
yeah. I mean, origami is a good activity, you know?
It is.
Following instructions is good for
It's kind
origamis.
of stressing. I
Mm,
tried.
I have done some things origami in class. The thing is that
You have.
it requires a lot of time, and time is what you generally don't have.
I kind of love myself.
But with the twin courses, it's really good to work in origamis. I show them to make plastic, paper cups, yeah, or little small books. You can download the model from the internet. You print them and you just tell them like print a bend, or for example you say bend number 1 and connect number 1 with number 8. So you teach them new verbs: bend, connect, cut, slip. Yeah.
Continue.
Sorry.
Yeah, until time's up, which would be probably 30 seconds. No, time's up.
Long ago.
Finish, Leo.
Oh.